Hey everyone, this is Nitro. In this video, I am going to challenge the level 65 Scylla boss. And I'm just going to begin, and I should really mention that before this fight begins, that my party is not exactly the normal party for this fight. Specifically, first of all, I'm using a Ranger Matthew, okay? And the second big thing is I don't have Cherie in my party. There's a bunch of reasons why I'm using Ranger Matthew as well as no Cherie. But the main reasons is basically A, in order for you to use Cherie in this fight, she has to have double class mastery and ideally Ragnarok. My Cherie has neither. So she actually can't one-shot anything except for the second tentacle spawn. She can't even kill off the regular tentacle spawn with single class mastery and 728 attack. So that's what makes my Cherie quite useless in this fight as a result. So that's, but for anyone who has double class mastery on Cherie, they absolutely 100% should bring her, because her Wild Princess will allow her to kill off, let's say, one of the tentacle spawns, and then Wild Princess activates and she can go back to attacking Scylla, or wipe out the second spawn. So it's a big advantage if you can afford to bring Cherie. Once again, I can't, so instead, I have Matthew in my party, right? And so right there, I already have a very odd party setup. The other thing is, the main reason to bring Matthew is for attack command, increasing your attack by 10%, so that all your other characters will do additional damage, right? But you can also bring Angelina. And in fact, some people say Angelina is a better option because of the ram skill. Okay, Angelina can basically ram the summoned Leviathan, the Abyssal Leviathan, away from Scylla. And then because the Abyssal Leviathan has no movement, it just ends up sitting there while you keep on wailing away at Scylla after that. So Angelina fits into this fight incredibly well with attack command and ram, and then, you know, lightning to do damage. The only problem with bringing Angelina is she's a Meteor faction character, right? So you'd probably want to, let's say, fit in Zerida so that you can faction buff Angelina. But that assumes you have a high level Zerida with multiple star levels with high attack, as well as a powerful Angelina, which not everyone has. So in any case, this is going to be my party. Elwin, Matthew, Chris, Liana, and Hein. So with all that said, I'm ready to begin. And I'll go over my party in detail after the fight as always, but the one important thing to note about Scylla is that Scylla, with every debuff Scylla has, it gains 8% attack bonus and defense bonus. So you really can't debuff Scylla, which means your characters, if at all possible, should not have equipment like, you know, Warlock's Hood or Horror Helm, stuff like that. In fact, if you have an Elwin with the Crush skill, you should use that rather than Defense Break. Because, once again, this defense reduction means that Scylla gets an 8% attack increase. So it's something to be aware of and wary of. Okay? It does mean she loses 12% defense, right? Because there's the 20% defense drop and then the 8% defense increase. So that does help. So in my case, I'm willing to get defense break. You know, I'm willing to have Scylla get less defense at the cost of taking more damage potentially, because I think all my characters can survive the attack of Scylla, even if it has the 8% attack increase. Alright, so that's everything I want to say at this point. And I think my party is pretty much ready to go. So the only thing I'm going to change is Hein to Shrine Maidens. Shrine Maidens, for the damage reduction, will keep Hein alive a bit, so that's why I made that change. Okay. So here we go. Alright, so here we go. And actually, one last thing I should mention before I start the fight And Scylla 65 is very, very annoying because the 55 and 60 versions have Raging Waves trigger once per 3 turns, right? So it followed the cycle of the other skills cooldowns. In this version, Raging Wave triggers once every 2 turns. So it triggers cycles through the skills while triggering. So it really messes up the 65 battle compared to the 55 and 60 versions. In any case, let's just begin the fight and do my best. So, with my party set up, I don't know which skill Scylla uses on the first turn, right? And the ideal... well, the worst skill is always spawn, because spawn will respawn, which does AoE damage to you. So I'm going to have to position accordingly because of that skill. So let's actually move Matthew down to start, right? And I'll place Matthew right here. Next, let's move Liana down. And then I'm going to move Chris down to buff up these characters. And then I'm going to have Hein teleport himself so that he can get into attack range of Scylla next turn. Right? And I think this location right here is fine. And then finally I'm going to place Elwin all the way ahead of the others, right here, and faction buff. So I'm hoping that if it spawns the tentacle, it'll affect Elwin instead. But instead of spawning, it used the Oceanic horror. So I'm okay. Alright. So, because it used Oceanic horror, I have to prayer this turn to heal up Elwin so he can attack. But before I do so, let's attack with everyone else. Right? So, let's start things off with Matthew, who is going to use his attack skill and stay where he is. Chris might as well follow up with discipline, but I'm actually going to attack first with Hein. Right? Now I'll attack with Chris. And she's going to heal up my characters that way. And buff them. And now Liana is going to come up and prayer up to heal up everybody, so that Elwin can attack. Nice. And now Elwin is just going to come down and do a regular attack. I have to save Sword Soul for the Leviathans that get spawned. Alright, so it uses spawn and respawn. That's the second skill. So now I know the order of skills of this Scylla boss, which is Oceanic Horror, Spawn, and then Summon Leviathan, following this order exactly. Alright, let's continue. So I need to get rid of the tentacle spawns. That's really what this turn comes down to. Which means... figuring this out. Well, Liana's easy. She will just shoot down the tentacle spawn. Okay? No fuss. Let's the tentacle spawn dies to Liana. Next, you need to kill off the other tentacle spawn. Let's have Hein do the attack and see how this goes. Not quite enough damage to kill. So what that means is Chris needs to finish it. Alright. Matthew will attack Scylla. And Elwin is going to attack Scylla as well. There we go. And now Scylla uses Summon Leviathan, and you can see that it is ready to Raging Waves once again. So, this turn, this Leviathan used the magic defense skill. It did not use the physical defense skill. So that's fine. Let's have my Elwin finish it off with Sword Soul. There we go. Down it goes. Next, let's see. Let's move Liana over. And again, Elwin. And the talent will heal up Matthew a bit. Let's have Elwin now do another melee attack on Scylla. Now, because I just took a look at my Matthew, Roundabout is available. So let's have Matthew attack and retreat against Scylla. And Hein is going to teleport Elwin to safety. So this is why Hein has the teleport skill. And finally, Chris will just end her turn. So there we go. Cycle now begins anew since it's turn 5. It's back to Oceanic Horror, Spawn, and Summon Leviathan in order. So everyone has to attack this turn, right? Need to apply as much damage as they can. So let's start things off with Chris, because that will heal up Matthew. Let's send Matthew in now with Sleep. And Hein. And Liana to heal up my characters. So let's heal Matthew. And Hein will get the talent healing. And finally, Elwin will move in and reactivate Fashion Buff. And Oceanic Horror hits Matthew, because Matthew was the closest. So now, Prayer is a must-do for this turn. So, well, let's start things off with Chris. And attack with Matthew. And Matthew is going to end his turn where he is. The only question here is, should I heal up Hein before he attacks? Right. Should I prayer up before Hein attacks or prayer after Hein attacks? It's a fairly minor damage difference, I think. So, you know what? Let's prayer after, because that way the prayer will last longer. So let's have Hein attack now. Liana prayers up, shifting down so that she can be easily tentacled away from the rest of my party. And Elwin is going to attack. There we go. And now, spawn and respawn. And Tentacle was actually used on Hein. Interesting. Unexpected. That works for me. Okay, so once again, Raging Waves active because of that annoying reduction to the damage effect. So I need to kill off both tentacles.
ご命令を。
And the question is, how do I do that?
行くぞ。
行くよ。
This one is the one that's troubling me. Okay. Why don't
こ
I
っちだよ。
basically give up some damage to make sure I can take them both down?
行くよ。
行くぞ。
What does that mean by giving up damage? Well, it means using Elwin to basically finish off the tentacle spawn.
ご命令を。
はいよ。
行く
So,
よ。
let's start things off with Chris doing, I guess, a regular attack, which is enough to kill off the lesser tentacle spawn. You know what? Doesn't really matter. Let's just use freedom. Let's just use the attack skill. Discipline will heal up my party. Default.
行くぞ。
Alright. So now, figuring out how to kill off that tentacle spawn.
頑張ろうよ。
はい
行くぞ。はいよ。
If Elwin attacks, right?
はい。
頑張ろうよ。はいよ。
はい。
Can I again Elwin safely? Doesn't look like it.
頑張ろうよ。
So what I'm going to do is have Elwin attack Scylla. Actually, no.
はいよ。
No. I will have to kill the tentacle spawn no matter what. So let's take it down now. I have to save again because of the Leviathan.
行くぞ。
Roundabout is inactive. So
行くぞ。
Matthew can't attack. So he has to move back.
頑張ろうよ。
Hein is going to teleport Elwin out.
どこ見てるんだよ。
And then Liana is just going to move back. And now, summon Leviathan, which is going to hurt Hein. But because Hein is full hit points, and Raging Waves does physical damage, the Shrine Maidens keeps Hein alive.
行くぞ。
So I expected to take that damage, but I knew Hein would tank it.
全力で行け。
Alright, so Abyssal Leviathan once again used the magic defense skill, did not use the physical defense skill. So I can get away with
行くぞ。
attacking with
はい
Matthew
よ。
and Elwin doing a regular attack to take it down. Let's
全
do
力
that.
で行け。
Elwin is going to shift over and do a regular melee attack with the attack command from
全力で行け。
Matthew. And I'm hoping this is enough damage to kill him. Because if it is, it would really help. It was enough. Very
行く
nice.
ぞ。
So, that opens up some options for me. Right? Let's again
頑張ろうよ。
Elwin.
行くぞ。
Actually, let's have Matthew attack. Right? With Snipe, because I know Roundabout is active once more. Right? So, Snipe to start things off. And then I can just shift over here,
はい。
creating space for my characters to attack.
はい。こっちだよ。
Chris has no attack skills this turn.
はい。
はい。
Interesting. Alright, so let's again Elwin.
人、思考、そして
頑張ろうよ。
Now
はいよ。
Elwin, can do a melee attack on Scylla.
はい。
行くぞ。
はい。
行くぞ。
はい。
はいよ。
And And then
いくよ。
はい。はい。
Hein is going to attack
頑張ろうよ。
and self-heal from that.
いくよ。
はい。
And I
いくよ。
guess finally Chris cannot attack, so she's just going to move up and end her turn. And Elwin will tank the attack from Scylla to do some damage to it.
行くぞ。
Cycle begins anew in terms of the skills. So Oceanic Horror, Spawn, Summon Leviathan once again. So let's continue to
全
apply
力でい
damage.
け。頑張ろうよ。
ご命令を。
行くぞ。
ご命令を。こっちだよ。
And I suppose I can start things off with... Actually, let's start things off with Liana healing up.
これ
Hein.
が私の信じる心です。
行くぞ。頑
And
張
then
ろうよ。
Hein can attack. Fireball. I know Scylla is using Oceanic Horror, so everyone can attack because Oceanic Horror will hit Elwin.
はいよ。
こっちだよ。
はいよ。
And Elwin will finally just faction buff.
全部まとめて俺に任せろ。行くぞ。
Alrighty,
ご命令を。こっちだよ。
continuing on.
ご命令を。
全力でいけ。
Prayer is a must, and I'm actually going to do it now. Actually, I just realized this is the turn where Scylla has Raging Waves again, and it's going to spawn. So, change of plans. Everybody basically has to retreat.
行くぞ。
This is the critical turn, because it's the spawn turn with Raging Waves. So I need to get my characters out. As long as I survive this turn, I should be able to beat Scylla.
こっちだよ。
So let's move accordingly.
行くぞ。
Let's begin by backing off Matthew.
はい。
Let's back off Chris.
Hi.
Hein is moving back as well.
はいよ。
I'm going to place Elwin here, I think.
ご
And
命令
Liana
を。
is going to go over here and prayer up, which will also affect Elwin.
全力でいけ。
ご命令を。
So
全
let's
力で
move
いけ。
Elwin back. And finally, Liana with the prayer.
これが私の信じる心です。
And here we go. Spawn. Respawn. AoE damage. Tentacle. Alright. We survive. That was the critical turn, as I mentioned.
ご命
And
令
my
を。
characters are
い
alive.
くよ。
So. Now, I just have to deal with Summon Leviathan.
はいよ。
はい、
I
こ
should
っ
be
ち
good.
だよ。
行くぞ。
So,
ご命令を。こっちだよ。
let's start things off
はい、
with Liana killing off the Lesser Tentacle spawn. Chris
行くぞ。はい
and Hein.
行くぞ。
Alright, let's have Matthew snipe Scylla. Just trying to decide whether to back off. Yeah, might as well.
頑張ろうよ。
Alright.
はいよ。
Elwin needs to kill off the tentacle spawn.
いくよ。
So let's have Chris attack Scylla. Destroy it. Good. That's what I
頑張ろう
wanted,
よ
the。heal
全
on
力でい
Elwin.
け。
So now Elwin can get rid of the tentacle spawn.
Hi.
This is hindsight. I should not have moved Matthew. I should have kept Matthew here so that guarantee that my Elwin had the attack command buff. He didn't there.
頑張ろうよ。
So that was actually slightly dangerous. But it worked out because I got the defense break on Elwin. That might have been a luck element. In any case, summon Leviathan and Abyssal Guardian. And now Elwin can Sword Soul down this Abyssal Guardian.
はい。いくよ。
Once again, it has the magic defense skill. Interesting.
行くぞ。
So... I need a position where Matthew can attack... Well, I don't think I need attack command for Elwin to one-shot this Leviathan. Let's see. Elwin? Yeah. One-shots the Abyssal Leviathan.
行くぞ。
So that worked out.
行くぞ。
You may need attack command, so that positioning would have been kind of
こっ
like
ちだよ。
Chris does something first,
Iksa.
then Elwin moves in, then Elwin attacks. Right?
行くぞ。
こっちだよ。
In any case, it worked out for me. So now I'm going to have Chris.
ご命令を。
Actually, I'm going to have to heal up my party, aren't I? Before they attack. So... Well, let's put Liana here, and I gain
こ
Elwin
れが私の信じる心です。
and AoE here.
行くぞ。
And now
全力でい
Elwin
け。
is going to melee attack Scylla to keep hammering away at him.
行くぞ。はい。行くぞ。
Matthew.
こっちだよ。
To be safe, I am going to attack with Chris first. To heal up my other characters. Alright.
行くぞ。
Now Matthew can attack.
はい。
And finally, Hein with a fireball. And once again, raging waves. After this attack. Here we go.
行くぞ。
はい。
全力でいけ。
いくよ。
全
Elwin
力でい
kind of needs
け
the。faction buff. So why don't I have one of my other characters attack? Which in this case should be Chris.
はい。
So. Heal up
これが私の信じる心です。
and AoE heal the others.
行くぞ。
it just attacked me, which means it's back to Oceanic Horror.
いくよ
So, Chris attacks Scylla. Does Matthew have Roundabout? He does. So Matthew will attack and retreat. Hein will teleport Chris out, and Elwin will faction buff.
逃げちゃダメだ逃げちゃダメだ全力でいけ全部まとめて俺に任せろ
Oh, wow! Oceanic Horror on Matthew.
頑張ろうよ
Uh-oh. Well, so be it. It chose the target it could one-shot, which is different. That's okay. Nothing I can do about it at this point. I just need to hammer down Scylla.
Hi.
And it is on the verge of happening. So it used Oceanic Horror. The next turn is Spawn. So let's just have everyone attack. All out. And Liana will just pray her up because it just used Oceanic Horror. The spawn, respawn, tentacle pole. No big deal to me because this is the last turn anyways, and I'm going to ignore it to focus down on Scylla. So with Elwin's attack, I still actually have 3 attacks and Liana's again to finish it this time. So there we go. With Elwin's last strike, I finished the match. So, success! And as I said, this honestly is not the optimal party for beating Scylla, because I do not have a double class mastery Cherie to use, right? But nonetheless, this party worked out very well because of Hein's teleport, and yeah. So, at this point, I guess I'll go over my party. Elwin is my most powerful character at 6,337 power. He has Seal Guardian, Winged Shin Guards, right? There's 10% attack here and 10% attack here. So that's 20% additional attack, right? His armor gives hit points, 11% hit points and 181 hit points, and some magic defense. Helmet gives 14% hit points and 1% attack. So in total, he has 21% attack increase. That's really what matters. And a bunch of hit point increases, which allows him to survive against the Oceanic Horror. That's Elwin. Next, it's Liana, I guess. Liana, her gear doesn't particularly matter. In fact, you can see she only has a level 30 Tenyo's robe, right? It was just mainly int increase. 10% int, 2% int with 6% hit points, right? 4% int and 10% hit points, and then 6% hit points and 7% int. So just primarily int increases on her gear, and it worked out. And next will be Hein. Hein's gear is Lana's equipment set. I've gone over this set multiple times. It's a pure DPS set focused on increasing damage. Important to note is Hein has a Sage's hat instead of Warlock's Hood, because Warlock's Hood debuffs Scylla, which would give Scylla more attack and defense. Sage's hat on the other hand, right? It buffs one of your characters, so that's fine. Yeah, this is an all int increase set. So 12% int here with plus 10 int, 3% int here with 6% hit points, 4% int and 3 int, and finally Holy Ring with 7% int and plus 14 int. So it's a maximum int increase set, and it worked out quite well for Hein. Next is, let's see, who is my, next is Chris. Okay. Oh, Hein is also 5 stars. He's not 6 stars, right? And my Hein also only has single class mastery. Does not have access to Saint or Martyr. But that was enough damage with equipment for him to output a good amount of damage, especially with gained knowledge. So we're going to talk about Chris now. And Chris is really the weakest member of my party. She is at 4 stars. 4579 total power, right? And yeah, equipment wise, she has the Tree of Life set, Gift of Eternal Life, which was quite important for the extra healing, I think, with 10% int and 4% hit point increase. Devout Coat level 30, because she wasn't really expected to tank damage. This could be raised to level 50 pretty easily, but I just didn't bother. Did not need to. With 2% int increase. Sage's Hat, 2% int increase, 1% hit points. These two have really garbage enchants, you know. And then True Cross with 4% hit points, 6% defense, 7% magic defense. No int increase here, you can see. Where this could potentially be a 10% int increase. So it's really not a good set, right? In terms of int increase, she only has a 14% int increase, you know. It could be potentially like 15% here, 10% here, 5% and 5%. So that would be, what, 35% int increase would be the maximum. And instead she only has 14% int increase. So there's a lot that can be done to increase Chris's damage and so on. But in addition, Chris has single class mastery as well. But this 4 stars single class mastery Chris was able to do around, I guess, 13k damage per strike on Scylla, and that was really just, that was enough to take down Scylla. So there you go. Alright, so last but not least is Matthew, the last member of my party. And Matthew, you can see, because my Matthew is in his archer class, he does have double class mastery, right? So this right there is not a strategy that can be copied by everybody. But the key point is Matthew had attack command to boost up everyone else's damage by 10%, and this was clutch in this fight, in my opinion. Right? Roundabout allowed Matthew to attack and retreat, which was a nice bonus. To be honest, if you have access to a Matthew that had cavalry class for move again, it would be much better than Roundabout, because there was a few turns where Matthew could not attack and retreat. But with all that said, it worked out, so no complaints. Is there anything else that I need to mention? In many ways, I feel like a melee Matthew with angels, right, and air slash would do just as well. So just an interesting point. But yeah, in terms of my Matthew equipment, you can see level 50 Bloody Melody, 10% attack increase. Level 50 Loki's Mask, 14% hit point increase with 7 attack. Level 50 Judge's Talisman with 15% crit chance increase and 4% attack. And finally, Monkey King's Vest with 5% attack, 8 defense, and 9% magic defense. So once again, a very attack-oriented equipment set. And the Monkey King's Vest isn't even fully maxed out yet. Alright, so that's my characters and their equipment. And in terms of soldiers, well... Oh, sorry. Let me just quickly send out my expedition again before I talk about my soldiers. The soldiers part for this fight is, to be completely honest, a mess. Because the soldiers that were used by my characters aren't that leveled up for this battle. So, here we go. Let's see. Elwin had mass maids, and the mass maids are the only ones that are maxed out. Level 10, right? Elite training is 14, 14, 14, and even the advanced training is 14 and 14. So once again, infantry training ground is my most advanced training ground, even though it's level 16 compared to the other ones, which are higher level. But the only reason it's lower level is because there's less text to level up in general for this training ground. And I completely dedicated all my upgrades to mass maids. Right? You can see the upgrades that I haven't done is like the additional characters. So that was my infantry training ground. I think everyone else used the holy training ground, right? Hein had level 9 shrine maidens. Yeah. An option for additional damage would be wizards, but you'd need high level wizards to be able to tank the damage and so on. Whereas the level 9 Shrine Maidens reduced physical damage taken by 70%, so that kept Hein healthy, which is why I used the Shrine Maidens instead. Shrine Maidens were also on Liana, so there is that. And Chris had level 7 Zealots, so not level 8, not level 9, not level 10, just level 7, but they did quite well, I think. At least it gave Chris enough damage to be a factor in this fight. And then finally, Matthew had Shinobi. And the Shinobi are just level 4, not even level 5. So they weren't that great. The upgrades in this training ground are very low level. Right? That's why damage kept overflowing out of the Shinobi to hurt Matthew. Because the Shinobi are level 4, you can see the tech upgrades are 5, 5, and 11. So not much hit point increase. And in addition to that, you can see here, this one's level 5 as well, and then this one's level 5 as well. In fact, this attack one isn't even fully upgraded, it's level 9. Similarly, you can right here, these two hit point increase techs are level 6. And even this one, Terrain Master Specialty, is level 5. So my Archer and Assassin Training Ground is really far behind, which once again, you know, if these were maxed out, this was maxed out, these were at like level 10, and this ones were at level 10, damage should not overflow out of the Shinobi to hurt Matthew. But as it is, because of how low the boost percentages are on my Archer and Assassin Training Ground, Matthew took a lot of damage as a result. You can see right here, for example, Infantry Training Ground, 34, 34, 34, 34. Right? The direct stat boots is like 55 hit points, 31 defense, 31 magic defense, and 55 attack. Over here, right, 12, 12, 12. While attack is nice, right, the hit point and defense and magic defense boosts are terrible. So that was why there was a huge amount of damage overflow. But once again, this training ground was enough for this fight. And that was why I also mentioned that if Matthew was in his hero class with a good set of equipment and so on, it would have probably worked out better. The only problem with Matthew being in his hero class would then be being able to attack command everyone else's attack. But you know what? It worked out with the Ranger Matthew, so it is what it is. Last but not least, let's cover my bonds for this battle. Elwin has been covered several times now. Max, 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 max. Level 9 strength bond, level 6 toughness bond. Liana was also covered multiple times. Max, 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 7, 7, 1. The other characters that are new is Matthew, Hein, and Chris. Matthew. Max, max, max. Right? Level 2 on the toughness bond. Level 9 on the strength bond. And level 2 on the heart bond. And in fact, it's because of this, the lack of the toughness bond and the lack of the heart bond, that I used a Ranger Matthew. Ranged attack. Because I'm pretty sure Matthew cannot survive Oceanic Horror. And if he can't survive Oceanic Horror, you can't use a hero Matthew. So having the Archer Matthew basically let me clear this fight earlier than due to me not having to upgrade Matthew's Heart Bonds and Toughness Bond. And he could be purely focused on increasing damage and still be okay. Alright, so that's Matthew. Because of my Archer Matthew, it actually paid off here. Hein. Hein has maxed out attack. That's basically it. Max. Level 9 on the Strength Bond, level 1 on the Toughness Bond, and level 1 on the Heart Bond. So all attack, and that is why I had to use Shrine Maidens, because he had no ability to tank hits without Shrine Maidens. Finally, Chris. And Chris's bond is surprisingly low. Max. Level 2 Toughness Bond. Level 5 Strength Bond. And level 2 Heart Bond. But again, this was enough for me to clear the fight. So there you go. I think my party is near the bare minimum to clear this fight, right? If you don't have a Matthew that can be an Archer class, right? If you have to use a melee Matthew, a hero class Matthew, that is fine. But you have to be aware that if you're using a hero class Matthew, you better have a max level Heart Bond and some Toughness Bond upgrades, because Matthew will likely be hit by Oceanic Horror just like Elwin does. And for either of these characters to survive Oceanic Horror, they need hit points. It's as simple as that, right? So that means you would need a good second set of melee equipment for your Matthew, which actually isn't that hard if you think about it, right? You would have, let's say, you would have Elwin set, and you would probably give Leon set of equipment, right, to your Matthew. But the key point is you'll have to wait longer than me, because you're going to have to probably max out the Heart Bond so that Matthew has a lot of hit point increase in order, and yeah, put some Toughness Bond into your Matthew. It would probably be kind of like Elwin, where you would need max, probably level 5 or 6 there, level 9 on the attack, and then level 7 to 10 on the Heart Bond in order for you to clear Scylla 65 with the party that I'm using. Of course, one last point is, if you're using a party with Cherie, things change up completely, because Cherie would have Wild Princess. She could attack twice a lot if she kills off a target. If your Cherie is strong enough, you know, she can just, every time the tentacles is spawned with the every time the tentacle is spawned with the lesser tentacle spawn, she could probably kill off both of them at once, right? So then your other characters, Chris, Hein, and Elwin, can keep attacking Scylla instead. The difference there is you have to be aware. Your Cherie would have to be pretty powerful and with double class mastery and probably Ragnarok. Alright, so that's everything I wanted to say. I hope you found this video useful in your attempts to clear Scylla 65. And once again, I apologize for using a party that can't exactly be replicated. But once again, I'm not willing to commit the extra, I guess, materials into upgrading my Matthew any further. Because, yeah, I mean, you would need a Matthew that can tank the hit. It's that simple. If you have a Matthew that can tank Oceanic Horror, then you don't need to, then you'd be fine. In any case, that's everything I want to say. So, on that note, Nitro out.